I stand alone in the bridal suite at Willamette Valley Vineyard, staring at my reflection in the full-length mirror. My wedding dress fits perfectly, every seam and crystal in place. The makeup artist exceeded expectations. My eyes look brighter, my cheekbones more defined, and my lips a soft shade of rose. The bouquet of white roses rests on the vanity, ready. I glance at my phone for the 14th time in 20 minutes. No message from Mom, none from Dad, and nothing from Logan. A soft knock breaks the quiet. Martha, the wedding planner, steps in, her practiced smile not quite masking her concern. "It's time, Caroline. Are you ready?" My eyes shift to the window overlooking the ceremony space. 90 guests sit neatly in white chairs while the string quartet plays softly. And in the front row, 3 empty seats stare back like reminders. They're not coming, are they? My voice trembles despite my effort to stay composed. Martha's smile weakens. "There's still time," she says, but we both know the truth. I inhale deeply, smooth the silk of my gown, and say, "Let's go." The garden doors open, and 90 faces turn toward me. Their sympathetic gazes feel like light touches, gentle but unwelcome. Some whisper, others smile encouragingly, but each look makes the hollow in my chest deepen. I focus on Ethan waiting at the altar, his steady eyes locked on mine. The warmth in his expression almost softens the echo of my mother's voice from 3 days earlier. "We'll try, sweetie." Logan's firm has an event that weekend. Her casual tone had stung, like declining coffee, not her daughter's wedding. "I can pay for the flights," I'd offered, my voice tight. "The hotel, anything." "Please, Mom." In the background, Dad's voice drifted through. "Tell her we're busy." Now I keep walking, one step, then another, in, out. I will not cry. I will not let them win, even by staying away. When I reach Ethan, he takes my hands. His fingers are warm, steady, grounding. "I'm here," he whispers. "We're enough." For a moment, I'm 8 years old again in our living room as Mom and Dad admire Logan's debate trophy. They adjust it on the mantle, step back to take pictures, and send them to relatives. My art contest certificate sits forgotten in a kitchen drawer. That morning, I'd shown it proudly, repeating my teacher's words that I had real talent. Mom only said, "That's nice, honey," before returning to dinner prep. Later, Dad had ruffled my hair and said, "Logan needs more support. He's going places. You understand, right?" And then Mom's usual line, "Why can't you be more like your brother?" He focuses on what matters. After that, I tried harder. More awards, scholarships, business success. Each one a silent plea for acknowledgement. Each met with polite indifference or none at all. The ceremony moves forward. I speak my vows, my voice growing steadier with each promise. I choose a future built on truly seeing one another. I tell Ethan, words only he fully understands. When the officiant declares us husband and wife, Ethan's mother hugs me warmly. "You're one of us now," she whispers. And something inside me loosens just a little. The photographer captures us on the dance floor. Ethan twirling me under the lights. His cousins join in. Laughter and music filling the air. For brief moments, I forget the empty seats, the phone checks, the quiet explanations to curious guests. At the reception, my college roommate Sarah raises her glass. "To finding the family who truly deserves you," she says, her gaze steady on mine. A murmur of agreement spreads through the crowd. Her words hit hard. I've spent my life invisible to those who should have seen me most clearly, chasing approval that was never coming. Later, when the noise fades, I step aside and check my phone one last time. Still nothing. No calls. No texts, not even a simple congratulations. Ethan finds me standing there. "They missed something beautiful today," he says. Wrapping an arm around me, I look at him. The man who's never made me earn his care. I think of his family's easy acceptance, of friends who traveled just to be here. I set my phone down. Their choice, I say, feeling lighter. Not my burden, and for the first time, I almost believe it. 2 years later, I lean back in my office chair, eyes on the computer screen. Acquisition of Crescent Motion Studio finalized at $21 million, 2 years of negotiation, 5 years of building. And now, validation in numbers. My office door bursts open as my team rushes in with champagne and plastic flutes. To Caroline, Jen, my creative director, calls out, raising her glass. The woman who built something from nothing, while certain people weren't paying attention. I smile. Clinking glasses with 12 people who actually showed up to celebrate me, unlike my family. We're mid-toast when my phone buzzes. A notification from Instagram. Logan posting about his twins' private school fundraiser. I shouldn't look. But I do. There they are. Mom and Dad beside Logan and his wife, Hannah. Their identical daughters dressed in matching plaid uniforms. The caption reads, "Family tradition continues." Third generation at Westridge Academy. Dad's arm rests proudly on Logan's shoulder. Mom beams at her granddaughters. I swipe through more photos. Logan's family vacation in Hawaii last month. The holiday party I wasn't invited to. Dad's retirement celebration. In every shot, they look like the perfect family, just missing one daughter. But what stands out isn't just the photos. It's what they imply. The Maui rental alone costs at least $5,000 a week. Westridge. Academy, $30,000 a year per child. Logan's house, the one in the background of several pictures, sits in a neighborhood where nothing sells for under $2 million, all of it. Funded by my parents' retirement savings and family investments, according to distant cousins who occasionally remember I exist. Caroline? Jen touches my arm. We lost you for a second. I lock my screen. Just checking messages. Where were we? The conversation resumes, but my mind's elsewhere. Calculating. Logan's law firm does fine, but nowhere near enough to sustain that lifestyle. My parents have been quietly supporting him for years, draining their savings to maintain his image. Meanwhile, my $21 million acquisition didn't even earn a text. When the team finally leaves, I scroll through my parents' social media, hundreds of posts about Logan's success, the twins' milestones and family events, me, just one birthday message from last year. Happy birthday, Caroline. No photo, no call. I close my laptop and make a decision. The next morning, I call my financial advisor. The Porsche Taycan, metallic gray, I say. I'd like to finalize the purchase today. 3 hours later, I'm signing papers for a $135,000 car. It's extravagant, unnecessary, and exactly what I want. Not because I crave my family's approval, but because I've never needed their money. Back home, I snap a single photo of the car gleaming in my driveway. I post it to Instagram with a short caption, "Dreams realized." 3 days pass. Silence. Then, on Wednesday afternoon, my phone lights up. Mom calling, a name I haven't seen in 5 years. My stomach tightens. I answer. Hello? Caroline. Mom's tone carries that mix of authority and urgency she saves for family crises. We need to talk. Family meeting tomorrow? Family meeting? I echo, disbelief clear in my voice. After 5 years of silence, you're calling for a family meeting? This is important, she insists. I hear Dad in the background. Tell her it's important. I roll my eyes. What's important? My wedding wasn't, my company wasn't. What matters now? Her voice hardens. It's complicated. Financial issues. We need to discuss them as a family, of course. They saw the car. They heard about the acquisition. Now suddenly, I'm family again. Tomorrow at 2, I say, ending the call. The next morning, I settle into my new Porsche, the leather seat cool against my back. The 40-minute drive to my childhood home gives me time to remember. Birthdays celebrated without me, achievements ignored, holidays spent alone while they gathered together. I pull into the circular driveway. My metallic gray Porsche looks almost futuristic against their traditional colonial house. For a moment, I just sit there, hands gripping the steering wheel. The last time I stood on that porch was 6 years ago, announcing my engagement to Ethan. Mom nodded politely. Dad checked his watch, already waiting for me to leave. They've never needed me before. Why now, my phone buzzes. A text from Ethan. Remember who you are. Call if you need an exit. I smile faintly. Another notification. An email from Naomi Blake, the investor who believed in Crescent Motion when no one else did. Your worth isn't defined by those who couldn't see it. A final alert. My assistant confirming tomorrow's schedule. Don't let them take too much time. Production review at 4. I take a steadying breath, recalling my therapist's reminder from last week. Boundaries aren't punishments, they're protection. Straightening my shoulders, I step out of the car. Before I can knock, the front door swings open. My parents stand there, their expressions shifting from irritation to surprise as their eyes land on the Porsche parked behind me. "You've done well for yourself," my father says. Not a hello. Not an "I've missed you." Just an evaluation of my net worth. "Yes," I reply evenly. No hugs, no warmth. They lead me to the dining table where Logan and Hannah already sit, their faces carefully composed in polite concern. "Caroline," Logan greets me with a nod, as if we spoke last week instead of 5 years ago. "Let's get straight to business," Dad says, pulling out a stack of financial folders. I remain standing, my purse still in my grasp, the only sign of the tension I'm keeping under control. "No," I say calmly. "First, I'd like to know why I suddenly matter enough to be part of family discussions after years of being excluded." My parents exchange uneasy glances. Logan shifts in his seat. "We can talk about that later," Mom says, her tone carrying the same dismissiveness I've known all my life. "Right now, there are more pressing issues." "I'm not in a rush," I reply. "And I'm not interested in being the convenient family member only when it benefits you." For the first time, I see uncertainty cross my father's face. In that moment, I realize they need me, and I finally have the power to decide how this goes. The dining room feels smaller than I remember. Dad sits at the head of the table, hands folded like he's chairing a board meeting, not a family crisis. Mom sits beside him, posture flawless despite the tension in her eyes. Across from me, Logan slouches in his chair, his designer shirt creased at the cuffs. Beside him, Hannah holds a leather photo album on her lap. "It's foreclosure, Caroline," Dad says firmly, though his voice trembles slightly. "Logan's mortgage is 3 months overdue, and the twins' school fees are unpaid this semester." I stay silent, letting the pause stretch. 2 years of no contact, and this is what brings us together. "You need to help your brother." Dad slides a set of papers across the polished table, loan forms already filled in. The assumption takes my breath away. "Think about your niece and nephew," Mom adds softly, her voice carrying that familiar practiced tremor that once compelled me to fix everything. "They're just kids. They shouldn't suffer because of financial troubles." Logan leans forward, eyes narrowing. "We're family. That's what family does. When one of us succeeds, we help each other." Hannah opens the album wider, sliding it toward me. "They ask about Aunt Caroline all the time," she says, pointing to photos of smiling children I barely recognize, at a birthday party I wasn't invited to. "Maddie keeps wondering why you never visit." Dad clears his throat. "We've done what we can. Our retirement savings." He hesitates, exchanging a look with Mom. "We've been helping them as much as possible." The meaning hangs in the air. My success makes me responsible for them. My independence is selfish in the face of their needs. I close the photo album and push it back across the table. "Where were you at my wedding?" I ask, voice steady. Logan blinks. "What? My wedding?" 2 years ago." "Where were you?" Mom's hand rises to her throat. "We were busy. Logan had that event with his firm." "It wasn't convenient," Dad adds, as if he's talking about a missed dinner, not a milestone in my life. I nod slowly, a realization settling in. "And yet here you are now because you saw the Porsche on Instagram. You reached out because of that." Logan's face reddens. "That's not fair, isn't it?" I sit straighter, feeling the strength in my spine where there used to be hesitation. I built everything on my own. Every scholarship. Every client. Every late night. Where were any of you then? Dad's eyes narrow. "What does that have to do with the situation now?" "Everything," I answer, folding my hands on the table, mirroring his posture. "I'm listening," I say evenly. "Tell me why I should write a check today." Logan slams his hand on the table. "You always had to prove something, showing off how smart, creative, or special you were," he says bitterly. "Some of us were just trying to live normal lives." Richard rests a hand on his shoulder. "Your brother had more potential," he adds. "We needed to guide that. You were always so independent. But we're still your parents." Elaine's voice shakes. "Despite everything." I keep my tone steady even as my chest tightens. "You were parents in name only." I start listing the moments they missed. My high school graduation. My college scholarship ceremony. The launch of my company. My wedding. With each milestone, I tap the table lightly. "You missed my life." And now you want to share in what that life built. Caroline, Richard begins. You didn't build this success. I interrupt calmly. You don't get to claim it. My phone vibrates. A message from Ethan. You okay? Meeting running long. The name brings to mind Naomi Blake's words when she invested in my startup. You don't need approval from anyone who can't see your light. I think of my team at Crescent Motion, their faces bright as we celebrated the acquisition, people who believed in me, who saw value in what I could create. Inside my briefcase is the finalized contract for our foundation funding, approved by the board last Tuesday. People who trust me with purpose, not obligation. Richard slides the loan documents toward me. We're only asking for something fair, he says. Family supports family. The interest rate is reasonable, Elaine adds, as though she's offering a kindness. Logan smirks. Blood is thicker than water, Caro. I rise slowly, drawing their attention. Their eyes follow me as I place my briefcase on the table. I've made another choice, I say. Logan watches my hands closely as I unlatch the case. Richard leans forward. Elaine twists a napkin in her lap. Instead of a checkbook, I pull out a single document. This is the announcement for the Rivera Media Scholarship Foundation, I explain. $16 million dedicated to helping young women in digital media arts. I smooth the paper flat. The press release goes out tomorrow. 16 million? Logan repeats, stunned. It's named after Ms. Rivera, my high school media arts teacher. She attended every exhibit I hosted when my family couldn't. The money is secured in a foundation trust, I continue. The board approved it last week. Silence fills the room. I'm helping girls who never got the recognition I didn't get, I say, collecting my things. That's what family means to me. Logan's expression tightens. You're wasting it on strangers, on nobodies who deserve the support I never had, I finish, snapping my briefcase shut. My parents stare at the paper, realizing those millions are beyond their reach. I pick up my phone and turn it toward them. A recording app is still running, 36 minutes and counting. I've recorded today's conversation, I say evenly. Every manipulative comment, every demand, every guilt trip, just in case anyone gets creative with legal claims. I start for the door. My footsteps echo softly. You can't just walk away, Logan shouts. We need that money. I pause at the doorway but don't turn around. No, Logan. What you needed was to show up at my graduation, my company launch, my wedding. That chance is gone. The door clicks shut behind me, quiet but final. Outside, the Porsche hums as I drive away from the house that no longer feels like home. My hands relax on the wheel. With each mile, my breath steadies. I press the call button on my dashboard. It's done, I tell Ethan when he answers. They showed exactly who they are. How bad was it? He asks gently. Exactly what we expected, I reply. Logan lost control when I showed him the foundation paperwork. Dad tried to reason with me. Mom cried about family loyalty. Are you okay? I glance in the rearview mirror, no tears, no hesitation. Just a clear-eyed woman staring back. I'm better than okay, I say. For the first time, I saw them for who they truly are. I'm proud of you, Ethan says. Remember, the board meeting's at 9 tomorrow. Everything's ready for the press release. The timing was intentional. Finalize the foundation before confronting my family. Announce it before they could interfere. No emotional manipulation, just legal certainty. The Rivera Media Scholarship would be my legacy, not another family dispute. I'll be ready, I assure him, before hanging up. At 11:47 p.m., the first message arrives. By midnight, my phone won't stop buzzing. Text labeled family emergency. I silence it and place it face down beside me. The house is quiet except for Ethan's steady breathing. I don't need to read their words to know what they say. By morning, 6 voicemails from my mother, pleas turning to anger, ending with threats about what people will think of a daughter who abandons her family. But I've faced worse. I tell myself this as I apply mascara, the familiar routine keeping me steady. My navy suit, the one I wore when signing the acquisition papers, hangs ready on the closet door. Ethan hands me coffee in my favorite mug. Logan's been calling business contacts, he says, scrolling through his phone. And your dad tried reaching my uncle. Predictable. I take a sip, the coffee bitter but grounding. They're moving faster than I expected. Though not any smarter. The foundation board meeting runs Smoothly. 12 accomplished. Women from media and finance, each carefully selected, fully committed to supporting young female artists. The press release passes unanimously. Launch details are set. The first scholarship recipient will be chosen within 6 months. I'm reviewing the event venue proposal when Janine from reception calls. Miss Rivers, your family is here. They're causing a scene. Through my glass office walls, I can see security already heading toward the lobby. I straighten papers that don't need it. Have security escort them out, calmly and professionally. From my office, I watch as my mother's voice rises above the low hum of work. My daughter is abandoning her family. She shouts, her pearl earrings swinging as she gestures wildly. Logan stands beside her, arms crossed, face flushed the same shade it used to turn when he didn't get his way as a child. My team looks to me for direction. I stand, smooth my skirt and move toward the door. It's being handled, I tell them, steady and practiced. Let's get back to work. Security guides my family toward the elevators. Logan's voice carries back, this isn't over. You can't just ignore family obligations. That evening, I send one concise email to all 3 of them. I have documented your harassment at my workplace. Any further contact here will result in a formal complaint. All family communication must go through my attorney. Contact information attached. Caroline. Direct and clear, says Patricia. My therapist, 2 days later, we sit in her sunlit office. The faint scent of jasmine tea between us. How did it feel to send that? She asks. Necessary, I reply, tracing the fabric pattern on the armchair. Not satisfying. Exactly, Patricia says. It's about setting a boundary. Yes. I nod. They're showing who they've always been, aren't they? People reveal themselves under pressure, she reminds me. What you're seeing now isn't new, just intensified. The truth settles over me. Simple yet heavy. I wanted their love. They wanted my resources. That's the difference. All those years, the neglect, the absence, their sudden appearances when I had something to offer. It all connects now. It was never my job to earn their love. It was theirs to give, and now? Patricia asks. Now I know I'm not responsible for fixing them, I say quietly. The truth lands deep in my bones. There's freedom in that. The next morning brings new headlines. Logan contacted the Portland Chronicle about a family dispute. But the reporter, more perceptive than he expected, asked why none of them attended my wedding. The resulting story paints an unintended picture. Parents absent during milestones. Suddenly interested once money appeared. My mother's social media rant backfires, sparking public sympathy for me. Messages pour in, former classmates, business partners, even distant relatives offering support. We always wondered why they never mentioned your success, writes a cousin I haven't seen in years. Richard's attempts to reach my investors go nowhere. They refuse to discuss private family matters. Instead, the community rallies around the Scholarship Foundation. Applications start flooding in months before launch. The Portland Business Journal requests an interview. I agree, with clear terms. We'll focus on the foundation's mission, not family drama. Reporter Delia Warren meets me at the temporary office. This is an impressive project, she says, flipping through the prospectus. $16 million is a significant start. What inspired it? I choose my words carefully. I had a teacher who believed in me when no one else did. Miss Rivera changed my life by simply noticing potential. I want to give that same opportunity to young women who might otherwise go unseen. You've built quite a career, Delia notes. The Crescent Motion acquisition was one of last year's biggest tech stories. Is your family proud? The question lingers between us. I could deflect, but I don't. I meet her eyes. My success, I say evenly, was built without family support. They weren't there for my wedding, my graduation, or when I sold my company. Delia pauses her pen mid-note. That gives meaningful context for the Foundation's mission, she says. Later that week, the article is published under the headline, Self-Made Success Builds Legacy of Support. The public quickly frames the story. My generosity contrasted against my family's entitlement. When news breaks about Logan's house foreclosure a few days later, the community connects the dots on their own. Ethan manages new security protocols at our home. My business team refines our communication strategy, filters messages, and prioritizes foundation work. Naomi Blake, my first investor and mentor, releases a statement reaffirming my focus on empowerment over dependency. My college friends rally around me, organizing dinners and events that leave little room to dwell on family drama. Weekly sessions with Patricia keep me grounded. Together, this united front becomes its own kind of chosen family, intentional, loyal, and supportive. 2 weeks after the confrontation, I received the Business Leadership Award from the Women in Media Alliance. Standing at the podium, looking out at faces that genuinely celebrate my success, I realize how much has shifted. My parents' retirement. Plans are now indefinitely postponed. Hannah's social status within her country. Club circle has eroded alongside their financial decline. Logan's twins will move to public school next semester. Meanwhile, the foundation flourishes, drawing positive coverage far beyond Portland. The story resonates not because I sought revenge, but because I turned pain into purpose. The scholarship committee selects 3 finalists for the inaugural award. Jeanine places their portfolios on my desk. "They'd like your input by Friday," she says. I open the first file, a young woman whose teacher recognized her potential when no one else did. The circle closes through action, not resentment, healing through contribution instead of reflection. Family, redefined by what it does, not what it claims to be. For the first time, I feel truly seen. In the following weeks, I delete Aunt Meredith's 4th voicemail after hearing her familiar plea. "Everyone misses you. Caroline." The Thanksgiving invitation sits unopened in my inbox. Subject line, "Family needs to be together." A transparent attempt at guilt and control. Then, a text from my cousin Drew. "I don't understand the rift between you and Uncle Richard. Can't you just talk to them?" Of course he doesn't understand. He wasn't there for my empty wedding or 20 years of invisibility. Yesterday, a letter arrived from Mom, her elegant handwriting instantly recognizable. "We always believed in you," she wrote, as if rewriting history. The envelope now sits half-burned in my fireplace, its curled edges as false as the words inside. Last week, Dad called my office directly. "We need to clear the air," he said, without a trace of accountability. Following my instructions, my assistant informed him that I was permanently unavailable. The final straw came when Logan sent his twins to my office with handmade cards. "We miss you, Aunt Caroline." The handwriting wasn't theirs. The manipulation was painfully obvious. That evening, Ethan studies the cards on the kitchen counter. "They're desperate," he says. I flip through the week's collection of apologies, realizing none of them actually are. Next comes a call from the family attorney, voice measured and formal. "There are moral obligations to consider, Caroline. Family carries certain responsibilities. The message is clear. I'm the villain of their narrative, the heartless daughter who turned her back on family." Pastor Wilson from the church I left years ago leaves a voicemail. "Your parents are deeply concerned. Perhaps we could meet to discuss reconciliation." 2 childhood friends I haven't spoken to in a decade reach out suddenly. "Your parents are..." Heartbroken, one says. "The holidays are about forgiveness," the other adds. Then, Hannah emails photos of the twins in Halloween costumes. "They ask about you constantly." I nearly throw my phone across the room. "They're framing this as my fault." I tell Patricia during our next session. My forgiveness, my duty, my failure to be the bigger person. "And how does that make you feel?" she asks calmly. Angry, I admit, but also validated. They wouldn't fight this hard if they weren't afraid of losing control. At the foundation selection meeting, an unexpected challenge arises. The committee recommends a scholarship for Maya Harrison, a 17-year-old filmmaker whose video shows striking talent and a familiarity I can't ignore. She reminds me of myself. I tell Ethan that night, quiet, determined, overlooked. I watch her interview again, seeing both who I was and who I've become. Maya's eyes carry the same quiet exhaustion I recognize from my own wedding photos. She speaks about finding her voice through filmmaking when her family couldn't or wouldn't listen. What if I was wrong to cut them off completely? The question escapes before I can stop it. Ethan, sitting beside me on the couch, looks up. "What brought this on? If I'm telling these women to stand in their power, am I really setting that example by walking away from my family? Is setting boundaries the same as running away?" He asks. I think about it. No, boundaries aren't abandonment. If Maya's family treated her the way mine did, what would I tell her? The answer is simple: that she deserves people who recognize her worth. The Thursday before Thanksgiving, I host dinner at our home. The dining table is fully extended, Ethan beside me, Naomi across, and my business team filling the spaces between. Maya sits at the far end, her scholarship certificate framed proudly behind her. The warmth in this room is something my parents' house never had. Candles flicker and laughter fills the air. No one here needs to prove their value to belong. I lift my glass. To those who see us as we are, the toast echoes. My phone stays off. All notifications silenced. The evening flows with ease, conversation natural and unforced, free from the judgment I once grew up with. During dessert, I share news about the Foundation's new mentorship program. I'll be personally involved with every recipient, I explain. We're building relationships that matter. Maya's eyes widen. You'll be mentoring us yourself? Every step of the way, I reply. This foundation isn't just about funding, it's about creating something meaningful together. Naomi nods. You've built something protected, something they can't interfere with. The foundation's independence is legally secured, I confirm. Its success will always be measured by impact, not approval. Later, as we clear plates, Ethan switches on the local news. Right on cue, the segment about the foundation airs, strategically timed during my family's usual dinner hour. On screen, I speak with the confidence I've earned. We build family through action, not obligation. The report transitions to a financial comparison, highlighting the foundation's transparency against cases of poor management, including a subtle nod to Logan's business failures. Maya looks stunned. They're really comparing your brother's company to yours? Facts speak for themselves, I say, stacking dishes steadily. The community recognizes what my family never could. The next morning, my parents ask to meet at a downtown coffee shop. I arrive in the Porsche, the same car that reignited their interest after years of silence. Dad looks older, lines of regret deep around his mouth. We should have been there, he says quietly, eyes on his untouched cup. At the wedding? I ask, though we both know it's more than that. Everywhere, he admits, voice cracking. Mom's eyes fill. How can we fix this? The question lingers. Months ago, I might have clung to this moment. Now I feel only clarity. Some things can't be fixed, I say gently. Only accepted, Mom flinches. I'm not closing the door, I continue. But I need accountability, not convenience. I'll consider limited contact once you both start therapy. That's unnecessary, Dad begins. Tone defensive. It's not negotiable. I take a sip of tea, calm and certain. They exchange glances, unfamiliar with being held accountable. Logan's collapse has stripped away their illusion of superiority. My success now stands on its own, beyond their reach. When they leave, no agreements are made. I watch them walk to their modest car, luxury long gone. I drive away without looking back, each mile replacing obligation with freedom. The foundation awaits. Maya's project needs review. My chosen family expects me for dinner. For the first time, I'm moving toward something, not away from someone. A year later, I stand in the sunlit studio of the Crescent Foundation, watching Maya adjust her camera. Morning light spills through tall windows, painting gold across the hardwood floor. What do you think of this angle? She asks, eyes bright with the same spark Miss Rivera once saw in me. Shift it slightly left, I suggest. Let the light fall naturally. My voice holds the confidence of a mentor now, not the longing of a daughter seeking approval. Behind her, photos of scholarship recipients line the wall, each one telling stories that might have gone unheard without the foundation's support. Every frame represents a voice reclaimed. My office here replaced the childhood bedroom where I once dreamed of being seen. Every piece of furniture and framed award was chosen intentionally. Nothing inherited, nothing bound by guilt. I've finished my documentary, Maya says, straightening. Would you watch it with me? We sit together in the editing bay. Her film traces 3 generations of women in rural Oregon, their struggles and resilience beautifully told through her lens. Watching, I feel pride unlike anything before. This isn't about me. It's about her voice, her vision, her future. When the credits roll, she turns to me, eyes glistening. You're the reason I believe I can do this, she says, hugging me tightly. I think of Miss Rivera, how she once believed in me when my own parents couldn't. That faith carried me through years of silence. Now I'm passing it forward, not neglect, but genuine support. Weeks later, I stand at the podium of the Portland Arts Center, accepting a Community Leadership Award. The applause fills the room, a sea of faces looking at me with appreciation, not pity. Ethan sits in the front row, pride shining. There are no empty chairs haunting me tonight. Everyone here truly sees me. Thank you, I begin. This journey began in invisibility and led to impact. For years, I measured my worth by approval I could never earn. Now I measure it by what we build together. The standing ovation feels like release. My therapist calls it post-traumatic growth, this calm acceptance that some wounds never fully heal. I keep careful boundaries with extended family. Holidays now revolve around chosen family, joyful, not strained. Ethan and I have created our own traditions. Naomi's retirement celebration last month brought together the people who lifted me when blood ties failed. The Foundation's new emergency fund ensures that promising students aren't crushed by circumstance. I understand their needs because I lived without that belief. Driving through Portland in my Porsche, I pass the coffee shop where I once edited videos on a borrowed laptop. Through the window, I see my parents walking. Our eyes meet briefly. I don't stop. There's no pain, only peace. They taught me what love isn't. Ethan, my work, and this community taught me what it is. Tomorrow, Maya begins her next project. I'll be there beside her, camera in hand, teaching what I've learned about making yourself seen. Family isn't who raises you, it's who lifts you.